Well, aviation school and the study to be a pilot is a rare opportunity for the lucky few in our country. Well, mainly because of the various challenges that are often associated with aviation school. We often hear about the exorbitant fees that cadets have to fork out to even be considered for a space. But what makes it even more challenging is if you are a young woman in this country. Now, as Youth Month is fast approaching, we decided to shine the spotlight on youth careers that are often perceived as out of reach for a certain demographic or a group of individuals. I'm very pleased to welcome someone today that has chosen that she won't let any of these challenges come in the way of her dreams. Rezaan Captieux, a young female commercial pilot in training. Rezaan, what a pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Alicia.
Thank you so much for joining us. I mean,
Thanks.
You're so small, you're so pretty. Do tell us, why did you choose aviation, particularly to be a pilot?
It's something that's always intrigued me as a young child, and I was always very afraid to speak about it until I realized, let me just live my dream, do what I want to do, and I just from there just decided to venture in the industry.
Look, let's talk about your challenges now.
Yeah.
I understand you're in your third year. Tell us about some of the challenges that you've come across, particularly as a young black female in this industry.
Well, particularly as a young black female, bursaries are very difficult.
Cost, yeah.
Yes. Currently, my grandfather's funding me, and his pension is running out. So I've applied at Denel and at Tita, and they really just, I'm still waiting. I've used so many opportunities to, look for sponsorships, and I just haven't received anything as of yet.
Let's talk about the application process. When you decided you wanted to be a pilot straight from, let's say, standard 7 or grade 9, what were the things that you had to particularly study, the subjects that you had to specialize in, and particularly, be an expert in when you graduated in high school?
Well, subjects, it's not really that big of an issue, but subjects that do help is science, maths, and your geography subjects really helped me, yes. My teachers laid a very good foundation for me in high school.
And how did you find the whole applications process? As you've just said there, that funding is very difficult to secure, and you had to physically pay for your own studies. Take us through that whole process. I mean, we want to get into your mind and understand those challenges, so that somebody that is at home and also saying, look, I want to be a pilot, but my grandpa can't help. What are some of the other ways? Because we're also hoping that somebody out there might even assist you with funding.
Yeah, well, it was... The actual application form was quite easy, because they just need a deposit of a certain amount of money, and then they'll accept you and say you'll come fly next week. But for me particularly, I finished school in 2015, and then I wanted to fly, but then I had to wait another year to find sponsorships. And then that's when my granddad said he'll help me with his pension money, and 2017 was the year for me when I started everything.
Oh my goodness! Tell us how pilot school has been so far. What have you learned? Well, can I be safe in a flight with you at this stage?
It's the most liberating feeling ever. I've learned a lot of independence, a lot of responsibility also, because you need to, at the end of the day, it's you, what you do for you. The effort you put in is what you'll get back. And yeah, like I said, it's just, it's the best thing ever. A liberating feeling to know that you're in control of an aircraft at your own discretion. And obviously, safety is a big issue. It's something that's stressed so much, because if you are not a safe pilot, then you're just not a good pilot. Let's put it like that.
What would you say one needs to have the qualities of being a pilot? Is there something in particular that you need to have? You need to be focused, you need to have good eyesight. What is it?
For me, it's passion. It has to be passion. So obviously you have certain restrictions when it comes to your medical fitness and health, whatever. But for me, it just boils down to passion. If you have the passion for it, because you can't go into the aviation industry because you want to be a captain or because you like the thought of flying. It's just the feeling you get when you fly that's what it boils down to. You like what you're doing. It's the most fun thing ever. It's just so fun for me, and I think that's where the passion lies for me. And
Look,
that's
talk to us
really-
about the various stages. We'll get to talk about your medical fitness
Yeah,
that you just
yeah.
mentioned now, but
Yes.
I understand, you know, pilot school has various stages of training.
Yes.
Talk to us about those and how far you are right now.
Right.
Can somebody literally offer you a job at this stage?
Well, for recreational use,
trying.
yeah, it's all good. So what you do is first stage you do your private pilot's license, and which is what I have now, and then you do your night rating, and
Okay,
then
talk to us about your private pilot study. How long does that take? How many years and so forth?
Private pilot's license takes about 8 to 10 months.
Okay.
And it can obviously vary depending on how quickly you do it. So I did mine in a period of 8 months.
What does that entail, basically, and how different is it from the commercial pilot license?
Well, it's more of a foundation phase, and it's when you get your commercials, you build up on your private pilot's license. But it consists out of 8 subjects and a certain amount of hours that you need of flying as solo or dual or whatever.
We always hear about so many hours that a
Yes,
person has flown in
yes,
the air,
yes.
so that's what they're talking about.
That's exactly
Okay.
what they're talking about. Yeah, so
All right, and then at this stage where you are now, talk to us about your training for your commercial
Yes,
pilot.
yes.
Explain to the people that might not even understand what a commercial pilot is and what is the difference between that and a private pilot.
So once I have my commercial pilot, I can become an instructor with an instructor's rating. I can also be employed, depending on whether it is a single engine or multi-engine. That just means if it's one engine or 2 engines.
You can fly a plane,
Yes,
basically.
yeah, I
Okay.
can fly a plane. So yeah, commercial for me, it's a one foot step in the door. You know, it's a step in, and you can, from there you can blossom and move and venture on into different. You can fly for charter companies or the SA Express or any airline company that's willing to nurture you and pay for the rest of your training, can employ you.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And what happens after training? I mean, when do you graduate? Talk to us about how much time you have left before you graduate and, of course, start training as an actual pilot or flying as an actual pilot up until you make money.
Yeah. Well, it's for me now, I started in February. It will take me about 18 months to finish this.
Okay.
Depending on how quickly I do it, like I said. And from there, I want to do my instructor's rating.
Okay.
So that I can be employed by an airline school for me to teach other students the way my instructor's doing for me. Yes.
All right. So from understanding what you're saying, Rezaan, you can actually study to be a pilot, but there's many other opportunities that can actually pop up from you studying just to be a pilot. Talk to us about those opportunities.
Well,
besides being an instructor, what
Yeah.
else can you do if you have a pilot's license, so to say?
yeah, you can fly for recreational use also, and from here you can become an airline pilot.
Okay.
Yes, I mean even overseas also there's many opportunities to get jobs overseas because they, especially for female, they're looking for. There's a lot of opportunities for female pilots.
I wanted to
It's
ask
just-
that.
yeah.
How many black female girls do you come across in the Joburg School of Flying Academy?
There's a lot of black students, but I must say not a lot of local black students.
Why do you think that is, Rezaan?
I just think because some girls don't know that they can become pilots, and I realized that I think I'm the only female colored in my school, my entire school. And that's a problem for me, and I hope to, help
But that's
young girls one day.
groundbreaking for you. You should
I hope
take that
so.
as a groundbreaking
I hope so.
initiative.
I hope
Okay,
so.
I wanted you to talk to us about the medical fitness because I heard you mention this, and I think it's actually an essential part of you becoming a pilot.
Yeah.
What does this entail? Do they check for your eyesight, your height, your weight, all those things?
Yeah. Well, eyesight, weight, and your height they're more strict on that in the Air Force, but they don't necessarily do that when you're studying through a private institution.
Okay.
Although your eyesight and your hearing has to be, 6 out of 6 vision, and you have to hear well. and they do electrocardiograms and check your heart rate, and yeah, they check for cancer also for males and females, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
I want you to demystify some of the myths we know about flying. Like, you know, we hear that pilots drink a lot and so forth. Are these some of the things that you get tested upon when you do particularly your medical tests?
Yeah, good, but I mean, it's obviously quite a silly thing if you gonna decide to drink. Yes, and you're gonna. But yeah, it's in the law. It says you cannot drink 8 hours before flight. Okay. Yeah, it's in the law. They aren't pedantic about cigarette smoking, but obviously, your drugs or whatever, then they're very strict on that. Then really strict on that. It's not something that, if you're a pilot, it's not something you should do.
You must live a very straight and narrow lifestyle. Okay, what would your advice be to young upcoming pilots, particularly females, who find themselves in the very same position that you are, who are also looking for funding? I mean, you've come this far without funding, but obviously some funding could still help. So go ahead and give them that message.
Well, one thing is that I should tell them that you don't ever give up, no matter your circumstances. Do not just refuse to fall victim to your circumstances. Don't make it an issue. And every avenue and venture that you can take on, you just make sure you create an opportunity for yourself to do what you want, whether it be what career, but particularly in aviation. Don't ever let it discourage you, because I mean, there's a lot of girls that talk to me and ask me how I can, you know, become a pilot. I inspire them, and I just tell them, just keep on going. Make sure you like I said, create an opportunity to become a pilot. Yes, and don't ever let gender stereotyping stop you from becoming a female pilot.
Absolutely. Yes. You know, we're very happy to have you today, and I still want to talk and discuss about the funding issue. You said you tried various means to try and get funding when you were actually applying for pilot school. Talk to us about some of those organizations that you applied to and why they said they couldn't give you funding.
Well, I haven't had feedback from Denel, but TITA, I've applied at TITA for 2 years now. Actually 3, and they'll just tell me, no, your application has not been successful, and it's the most frustrating thing ever.
But you're doing well at school.
Yes,
I'm
you're
at the top of your class, Rezaan.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, it's just, you know, I'm punctual. I study hard. I work hard. You know, I make an effort to, you know, make a name for myself or be a good student. And it's frustrating to hear that, you know, you find students that have funding from TITA or wherever,
and they're not even going to perform.
Yes, and the funds are just sitting in their bank account, not doing anything. It's very frustrating. So anyone who's willing to help, I'd be more than happy.
You know, Rezaan, I'm going to try and put people on the spot, whoever is watching from any of those organizations, whether private or government, to try and do give us that call or send us an email and tell us what you can do to assist in terms of funding. And do you find that Rezaan, this is pretty much the story of the other girls that you've come across in the school, that funding was a problem?
Yes. Yes, there's quite a few other girls that have issues with funding, and they just keep on going the same way, because it will either break or make you.
You know, you're almost there, Rezaan. We want to wish you all the best.
Thank you
so much. We're going to try and rope in those people to come and talk about these very same issues, because I think that people should be looking at your marks in order for them to ascertain whether or not you deserve a scholarship, not to just say, well, we'll just throw it in the bin and we're not going to say anything about it. Well, we have faith in you. We believe in you. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck for that. That was the young, enticing Miss Rezaan Captieux, a young female commercial pilot in training, and she was taking us through the challenges that she has faced, not only as a young female, black female in this country, but also in terms of funding.